Good morning or good afternoon. Today we're doing a row of brassicas, and the names are Waltham Fall Broccoli, which is going to be at that end, and up here I just started putting in transplants of a cabbage called Savoy Perfection, and the spacing is supposedly 24 to 30 inches apart. So I'm going to go with 24 because it worked well with the early Jersey Wakefield cabbages, which we pulled out, made sauerkraut a few weeks ago. That's over here. So we pulled this one out and this one out and that one out. And so there are two left. We actually cut the heads off and put a cross cut in what was left of the base. I wanted to see what happened because I kept hearing that they keep growing. So I'm not sure what this is exactly, but I need this space to grow lettuce. I'm not going to put cabbage in the same place one after the other. They're heavy feeders. That's why I've chosen this one, this row, for the cabbage and the broccoli, because before this was garlic, which was pulled out July 31st. And on July 25th is when I started the seedlings, the seeds, in these little pots for the cabbage and the broccoli. And it took that long to get to the point where they're big enough to transplant. And so that's that story. So I did one. I'll get my bucket of compost out of the way so you can see it. And what I did, and you might have heard this before, I make a hole. Now, Stephanie prepared this by tilling and working in compost a few weeks ago. And so now we had a little bit of rain the other night, but strangely, it's been so hot that everything dries out. So it can rain, you can go back the next day and you dig in and there's dry soil underneath. So this morning I gave it a little start and a pep talk. I watered a little bit and I came back and I dug a hole almost twice as high as the pot. And I put compost in the bottom, and then I put the seedling in, and I'm going to show you. So here's about 22 inches right here. So I'll loosen that again. Not too bad. Okay. And I'm going to dig the hole about twice the depth of my little seedling. I'll do it this way. So let's see, I think I just told you 22 to 24 apart, and I want to get a lot in. This is 22. Very good. I'm happy with that. I like to measure things. And so I'm digging down pretty deep. And you know, when you're digging and you're piling the soil up around the outside, it looks like it's deeper than it really is because this is higher than the ground level. So I made that mistake many times and just laughed at myself thinking, now I thought I dug a hole, now I've put the pot in, and I will show you why it became a problem. So here's some compost. I'm going to put it in the bottom, which I realize is making the hole a little less deep. But we'll see, and you'll discover with me what the problem can sometimes be. Savoy Perfection. So, here's the little fellow, and ooh, very good. Ooh, nice roots. And I'm installing this into the bottom. Boy, it got to be pretty tall. Now, when you plant this, and I'm going to add a little bit more around the base. Then I start to add the soil. And what I want is for only those top secondary leaves to be out of the soil, like that one. And the initial ones, I guess they call them the dicotyledon leaves, they're heart-shaped. Those are the first ones to appear when you're starting a seedling. They have to be covered with soil. Now, I can't explain to you scientifically why, but people have found that that does best. Maybe because those initial leaves become part of the compost to nourish the rest of the plant. Maybe someone has a theory about that. So, there you are. I'm pressing it down a little bit. We don't want air spaces down there. And the other thing is, if you could see that one, I'm going to start to repeat that. I'm going to create a little moat around the outside of the plant. And that is a catchment for water. So whether you're watering or it rains, this will ensure that the plant is getting a nice supply of water and it'll hold it. Okay, this is the 22-inch away. I have to say, when I planted broccoli in the big greenhouse, it said about 2 feet, 24 to 30 inches, and I wanted to get them all in, so I just gave them 22 inches in between, and they did so beautifully. I was delighted. So, but these I'll give 22. We have some space. Oh, wow, that is so hard. And the rocks don't help. But, let's see, that's not deep enough. I just can tell. If I put that down in the bottom, no, that will not be deep enough. I need a little more. So, I've dug deeper than I thought I needed, so I wouldn't have any bad surprises. I can always add, here's some mulch, and I did moisten it. It is so, I can't say it's so hot. Compared to last week, this does not seem hot. So here's another one. There you go. Okay. That looks like it's a long way down. We'll see. Okay. I'm holding on to the major secondary leaf. The other thing is, when you're transplanting, I read, don't pick it up by the stem, pick it up by the largest leaves. You know, loosen it in the pot, give it a tap, and then see if you can pull it by the leaves. A little more nice moist mulch. Now, after I finish getting these all in, I am going to give them a good drink of water as well. Okay. Whew. Okay. Now I'm making my little moat. It doesn't really have to be big. Just build it up a little bit. Wow, that's pretty dry. Oops. Sorry, little fellow. A lot of times you see videos and, you know, things are done. It looks like it only took about half an hour to do something, and that's because a lot of work time has been just edited out because it's repetitious and you might think it's boring. But you will know, especially after you've done this a few seasons, that it takes a lot longer than as seen on TV. And you know, same thing happens with cooking shows. It looks like, oh, this only takes an hour to prepare. In reality, it's more like 2.5. Okay. A word about my lovely aluminum clipboard. This has some history. This belonged to my Uncle Henry, who was an orthopedic surgeon, and he had an office, and this was his clipboard. And when he had a new patient, you know, that history would go on the board and he'd make notes, and I saved this after he passed away and took some mementos from his old office. And another reason I think this is appropriate for what I'm doing here is that these are my patients, and I feel so responsible for their health and production, and so I'm taking care of them. So this is appropriate. Somebody's going to say, can't you find a tool with a longer handle so you're not bending over? Actually, I don't like sitting on a bench or a stool. To me, I get more dizzy, and I would end up with a backache if I were leaning forward like that. Whereas bending over all the way down like this, for me, is like doing yoga. My back actually relaxes. I know, it's strange, but maybe somebody else would have the same experience that I have. But you do what is good for your body, and you'll learn as you go. Wow, it's hard down there. Woo. I guess the rototiller doesn't go down that far, but I need to prepare some aerated soil and mulch for the roots to be able to do what they need to do. We don't need rocks. Well, I have one Savoy Perfection left, and I might as well just put it in. It might be encroaching a little on broccoli land, but that's okay. I have other places where I am planning to put broccoli, and that is in the greenhouse. I'm not going to put cabbage in the greenhouse. So, that's my story. I'm going to put that in, water, and fertilize tomorrow morning. So thank you for joining me in this effort.